today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. A look at the updated set of rank standings in the women's welterweight division via the World Boxing Council, where Lauren Price reigns as WBC champion. Former champion Ivana Habazin is ranked at number 1.
Really is slim pickings when you look at these ranks and see what names are on there. Ivana's ranked at number 1, but Ivana hasn't fought in close to a year. It's been close to a year since her loss to O'Shea Jones in the junior middleweight division. Jessica McCaskill, former undisputed champion, is ranked at number 2, but Jessica hasn't fought since May of last year when she boxed Lauren Price, and I felt that she retired off of that loss. Ranked at number 3 is Natasha Jonas, who also boxed Lauren Price in her last fight in March of this year and lost as well. Unbeaten up-and-comer Summer Lin, who used to be managed by Rick Ramos. She's ranked at number 4, but Summer Lin hasn't boxed since April of 2022.
3 going on 4 years ago.
To my knowledge, Summer Lin doesn't actually box anymore. She decided to take a long hiatus from the sport and pursue different career paths. Ranked at number 5 is former champion Mary McGee, that's currently coming off a loss earlier this year, and that encompasses the top 5 fighters in the WBC's ranked standings.
Fighters that haven't actually fought in a very long time, and many of the ones who have are coming right off of losses. Which one of these fighters is going to be the mandatory for unbeaten Lauren Price, who sports a professional record of 9 wins with no losses and no draws, 2 recorded knockouts, 1 belt away from becoming undisputed welterweight champion. The other is held by Michaela Mayer, who became a unified junior middleweight champion in her last fight.
And I don't know what she's going to do now. It's slim pickings for the fight between her and Michaela Mayer because Top Rank is between broadcasters right now, and Boxer doesn't have the money.
They're not with Sky Sports anymore, and BBC, in spite of being a very big platform, is not kicking out the same money to Boxer that Sky was kicking out to Boxer. So a fight between them. Olympic gold medalist Lauren Price only saw action once this year, and that was all the way back there in March in what was the Natasha Jonas fight.
Only fought once.
I happen to think that out of the amateurs and into the pros, if Lauren Price would have gone with Matchroom instead of Boxer, she'd be a lot more active than she's been this calendar year. She'd be a lot more talked about as well.
That's what I think.
I think that her relationship with Boxer is now costing her time, and it has outlived its usefulness. I think if she were with Matchroom, not only would she be more seen and more talked about, she'd be more active.
She would.
Sky Nicholson is a prime example. Sky is coming up on her 4th fight this calendar year.
Tia May Ayton is coming up on her 4th fight this year. Newly signed Meatball Molly McCann, she's coming up on her 2nd. And she just signed to Matchroom.
And those fighters are not Olympic gold medalists like Lauren, so that when I look over at Lauren and the job that Boxer is doing, yeah, they tried their best. But I think that Lauren would be in a stronger position right now if she would have went with Matchroom instead of signing to Boxer. That undisputed title fight with Michaela is only as good as what's on offer.
Michaela's not going to travel to the UK and fight Lauren for peanuts on the dollar, not for an undisputed welterweight title fight, and least of all when she's already a unified champion at a 3rd weight.
Boxer doesn't seem to have the money to make it happen, but then again, neither does Top Rank. So either way, the fight is on ice.
Lauren is in limbo.
An Olympic gold medalist and an unbeaten unified welterweight champion is in limbo. That would not be the case if she were with Matchroom or MVP. I don't know what Lauren's contractual situation is right now, but if she can separate from Boxer, she needs to do so post-haste.
Go to Matchroom, go to MVP, go to where the fight dates and the money is.
And I advise her ex-girlfriend, Karis Artingstall, one of my favorite unbeaten up-and-comers, to do the same if she can, because she's been no more active than Lauren has.
Go to Matchroom or go to MVP.
Because it's hard times. It's hard times all around, and you can see that in the World Boxing Council's welterweight rank standings, and you can see that plain as day in Lauren's sparse schedule of activity.
Show y'all what I've been working on.
Does that ever annoy you about boxing when sometimes the fans might see it as like a popularity contest?
Yes. Like, real deal, that's what irks my nerve. Back to the fashion thing, you get what I'm saying? We over here finna fight or whatever. Y'all asking me about some fashion. I'm a man. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get gritty. This is what I do. And y'all want to ask me about being cute, what I got on and things of that nature. So it's just like, no, the whole game is twist around. It's a popularity contest. It's a whole drama queen type stuff. It's a whole bunch of salon talk. Whole bunch of, this guy ducking him and it's really on him. No, but if you think about it a little bit, man, watch out. You get what I'm saying? No, we get active, dog. We ain't got time to worry about no drama, man. Who about that action? You get what I'm saying? Who trying to step up in the ring and get it in? That's all I care about. You feel me? I ain't trying to get loud and try to throw you off your game, anything like that. And I want you on your best time, and I want you at your best everything. I don't want you to have no mental lapses or anything like that. So when I knock you out and I put you in the dirt, you can't say nothing. I had a bad training camp. I was really, no, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You own the money. Matter of fact, you want some money for some training camp, I'll pay for that too, boy. What else you need? You need a nutritionist, I'll pay for that too. No, you finna be on the money. And now I'm finna see you back to the bottom.
It's Brian Gore-Tex, head of his big fight with Devin Haney this weekend, to where if you closed your eyes and listened in, you would almost think that was Roy Jones Jr., because that's how young Brian sounded. He sounded like a prime Roy Jones Jr. And I like this fucking kid.
I like his dad, too. They grew on me.
Addressing what it was Brian was addressing. What was he talking about? That boxing has become sort of sissified over time. What boxing fans chatter about, what they're concerned with, what kind of questions get asked by the media.
I saw it the other day. They were asking Brian to rate Devin Haney's outfits.
What the fuck?
Who in their right mind thought that was a good idea to ask Brian about Devin's wardrobe? What the fuck was he supposed to say?
Unbeaten up-and-comer Carmel in Motion reacted to Brian's comments by saying facts. But the fashion and other things boost your popularity and open up sponsorship opportunities. It's all a business. The more eyes you've got on you, the more money you're gonna get.
Oh, really? So which one of these boxers got a sponsorship with a major brand? If what we're now doing is justifying all the sissified shit we've been seeing in boxing from boxers, which one of them has a major brand deal?
None that I can see. The only fighter I can think of off the top of my head that has a major brand deal or had a major brand deal with a major brand was Anthony Joshua with Hugo Boss. But you never heard Anthony Joshua carrying on about his Hugo Boss.
I don't understand.
Boxers need to sound like boxers. They need to act like boxers because their boxing is what makes them appealing. They don't need to sound like fashion models.
We don't need to know what Brian thinks of Devin's outfit.
But Carmel Moulton thinks it's important to be expressive like this, kind of like women will tell you. It's important for men to be more emotive, to show more emotions, so that when they do, those same men end up looking more effeminate to the women that wanted them to be more emotive, that wanted them to be more expressive, and thus less attractive.
Where is this going?
That it's a suggestion. What Carmel Moulton is advising is just a suggestion, though not a very good one. Boxers need to behave like boxers because that's what gets them in the spotlight. That's what makes them appealing to the consumer. They're boxing more than their fashion, more than what they're wearing, more than where they buy their watches.
Boxing!
Don't you notice that more boxers in previous eras of boxing, when they behaved like boxers, those were the guys that had the brand deals. I saw Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Holmes in a car advertisement for Range Rover. I saw Marvin Hagler in a pizza commercial and what I think was a deodorant commercial.
Boxing!
Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran were in a Sprite commercial together. I think it was Sprite or 7-Up, one of them.
Boxing!
When the boxers actually behaved more like boxers and less like fashion icons, that's when they were getting the brand deals, not now. Your average boxer right now, hell, your world champion.
They don't get the brand deals that boxers used to. So this new era, new age.
Don't be a putz. You're a boxer. People know you for your boxing, so that's what you gotta focus on. Everybody thinks they're a brand now. Everybody's in a hurry to branch out before they've actually done anything, done enough to where they can branch out. When and where did it all change? When did boxers stop acting like boxers? I would say it was in the Mayweather era.
You will find that the Mayweather era was the catalyst for a lot of what you see today that's wrong in boxing. Not even saying that Mayweather was as bad as these kids are, but in trying to emulate him,
They're fucking the game up.
I'm old enough to remember a time before the Floyd Mayweather era where nobody sat around in barbershops arguing about fighters' purses and what makes sense for the fighter, the manager, the promotion, the broadcaster.
I remember.
I'm old enough to remember when boxing fans, they didn't sound like that. They don't start to sound like that until the Mayweather era, the ones living vicariously through him and all of the millions that he amassed, focusing on his wealth.
I remember.
That starts in the Mayweather era because before that, nobody used to talk like that. Boxing fans didn't sound like that. Boxers.
I remember.
I've a rooting interest in Brian Norman for that reason. I still don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. I don't know if Brian is going to get the job done, but I want him to because of how he carries himself, because of who he is and who he's trying not to be. He's not trying to be like these prima donnas and pretty little princesses. Look at my shoes. Look at my jacket. Oh my God, my watch.
Who fucking cares?
My chrome hearts. And look at my leg tattoos. Look at my braids.
Who fucking cares? Boxing ego, that's who. He's the kind of guy where he's more about a boxer's leg tattoos than who a boxer's boxing. He's a sissified boxing fans. And some sissified boxers. That's gotta stop.
What a Brian Norman victory could hearken on Saturday is the beginning of a new era that harkens back to an old one. Not the Mayweather era, but the eras before it, where the boxers focused on boxing.
And men were men. Man.
Instead of all these Rudy Poo candy asses you see with Shih Tzu dogs in their satchel.
Clog it.
The night is darkest, just before the dawn. I think boxing has seen some dark times as of late. But this Saturday, young Brian Gore-Tex,
Call him that.
I still don't know. With a victory over Heaven Haney, he could usher in a return to boxing being about boxing.
Going back to a time when the men were men.
It is difficult to pick a winner in this fight. Devin Haney has a very pesky style. Does Brian Norman have the ingredients to offset that and fight his fight? I don't know.
I don't know if he's gonna win. I just know that I want him to.
Is he right, boys, to be targeting back at 147 now?
Muscle weighs more than fat, right? And he's bulked up and he looks like a middleweight. So I don't know if he can, he probably won't be able to make 147. Spencer's right, maybe the 154, but all the champions at 154 are just as tasty as the ones at 147. So I think he's stuck a little bit. You know, we all want to be world champions. We all want to, you know, tick that box. But, you know, saying it's one thing, doing it's another. And I still feel there are levels to this game. I don't really think he's ready for a world title fight. That's just my own personal opinion. He's not going to make welterweight and be strong. And he's certainly not a middleweight. You know, everybody knows, the world and his brother knows, he's beaten an absolute shell-shocked fighter in Chris Eubank Jr. That victory, I don't want to take nothing away from the boy, but it flatters him, you know, because he had nothing to beat, right? Now, to drop back down to 147, he then finds himself in the same position as Eubank was in being weight.
Ironically, yeah.
He's not going to be strong at the weight.
Let's see Connor in, you know, with someone of some sort of substance at that weight division.
If he gets matched right, then he can win a world title, can't he?
Let's say, look, we talk about Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall sort of gets overlooked a lot. Let's see Connor Benn in with Jack Catterall. There's your fight.
And Catterall, with respect to Connor, in my view, for what it's worth, Catterall would box his head off.
He probably would.
That's a very, very good fight.
Those are all valid points raised after the fight. I raised those points ahead of the Eubank Jr. fight.
Was targeting Chris Eubank Jr. more expensive for Connor than he realized the price?
And what it costed him, targeting Chris Eubank Jr. in the middleweight division where Connor Benn had not yet challenged for a welterweight title. Connor Benn hasn't made welterweight in about 3 years, you know. He ain't been down there. And I know that he's not a big guy,
But 3 years is 3 years.
the hope for Connor has got to be to get down to welterweight, that he start now. I mean, he has to start cutting now, watching his diet.
Cutting the carbs out, staying away from fizzy drinks, staying away from alcohol and all those empty calories. He literally has to start cutting now. I don't think that he's going to.
Not during the holiday season, not when Christmas and New Year's are right around the corner. Holidays where people like to stuff their face, like to celebrate. I don't think that he's going to yet, but for him to get down there safely, I feel that he needs to start cutting now.
Not big cuts either, but gradual ones to ease himself back into a welterweight frame, the welterweight division. It is not going to be easy, not 3 years out from his last welterweight contest.
So if it's so difficult, why even go to welterweight? Why not just make a pit stop at junior middle? Stay there.
He don't beat nobody at junior middle. He don't beat nobody with a belt at junior middle, and that's why to win a belt, he has to go to welter. The welterweight division is in a weakened state, and the junior middleweight division is in a deepened state. Xander Zayas. Do you think Connor Benn can beat Xander Zayas? Do you think he can beat Bakram Murtazaliev? Do you think he can beat Sebastian Fundora?
No.
Do you think he can beat Abbas Baru?
The reason that Connor has to skip past junior middle is because he can't beat those guys at junior middle. His best bet at becoming a world champion is at welter. That is in a weakened state. That if he can get down there, match fit, I would give him good odds to beat a Mario Barrios.
A Rolly Romero, a Ryan Garcia. That is, he stands a much better chance of beating them than he does of beating the guys at junior middle. He has to get down there.
But can he?
Well, he said he's going to do it.
No, he said he's going to try. That's what he said. He said he's going to try, and he's not going to bitch and moan about it, how Chris Eubank Jr. was bitching and moaning about making middle. That's what he said. Though saying it and actually doing it, being able to, are two different things. It was brought up that this is sort of a role reversal, where Chris Eubank Jr. had to kill himself to make middle, Connor now has to kill himself to make welter.
Would seem that the universe has a sense of humor. Karma always arrives on time. Not too early and not too late, but always on time.
The targeting that Chris Eubank Jr. fight could have come at a greater cost than Conor Benn realized at the time, and now he is about to pay that cost, that price. Off the top of my head, I can't think of too many fighters that dropped 2 divisions south of where they last fought and had any palpable success in doing so.
Drawing a blank.
So Conor Benn could very well be courting disaster, attempting to return to the welterweight division, but given that he doesn't have a middleweight frame, or even a junior middleweight frame, he doesn't have much of a choice.
Things are about to get even more interesting.